Friends, welcome to the session 3 of environmental education. Here, I will discuss the course contents pertaining to environmental education at secondary, higher secondary, and higher stage of education. So, at the secondary stage, students can understand both the abstract and concrete concepts of the environmental education. As at the secondary level, they become matured enough so they can come to understand both the abstract concepts as well as the concrete concepts of every subjects, including the environmental education. Okay. So the concepts covered are biosphere. Biosphere, as you may all know, the combination of atmosphere, lithosphere, and hydrosphere. And in simple sense, the place where life is found is called biosphere. So this concept of biosphere is included at the secondary stage of environmental education. Then greenhouse effect, as you may know about the concept of greenhouse effect, it is the problem caused by increased quantities of gases such as carbon dioxide in the air. These gases trap the heat from the sun and cause a gradual rise in the temperature of the Earth's atmosphere, which in other words we can tell as global warming, which we are nowadays subject to face day by day. Then the concept of ozone layer depletion, which is becoming a serious threat for the living beings on earth actually. Then use of fertilizers and pesticides. This concept is taught at the secondary stage to students. The concept of the use of fertilizers as well as pesticides, which causes severe problems to the health of men and animals, as we are subject to eat the fruits and vegetables which are grown on pesticides. As you may all know about this concept. Then wildlife protection, which is very important again nowadays, as you may have these types of knowledge regarding, wildlife hunting and poaching in the forest reserves and sanctuaries. Then soil chemistry is other important concept which need to be included in the course of environmental education at the secondary stage. This concept of soil chemistry is like that, which is the study of the chemical characteristics of soil. Soil chemistry is affected by mineral composition, organic matter, and environmental factors as well. Then the concepts like management of domestic and industrial waste, as we all know about this, problem that we may subject to face. In fact, we have some people have this habit of throwing domestic waste material here and there without caring for our nature, without caring for our environment. So this is our habit to throw waste material here and there, and it should be stopped. And therefore this type of concept of environment should be taught at the secondary stage, because the secondary level students can understand both the abstract as well as the concrete concepts as well. Then the concept, it is most important concept of which is pollution of noise, air, water, soil, as well as control measures of this pollution. So because we are the subject to face regularly the pollution, we know about air pollution, we know about water pollution, we know about soil pollution, and we are the we are human being, we are responsible to protect our environment. We need to stop this pollution. So this is very important concept that students must know from the secondary level. In fact, from the primary as well as upper primary level, the concept of pollution is included in the course of environmental education. Okay, then ecosystem, this concept is important to include in the course of environmental education at the secondary stage. Then the concept of management of non-biodegradable substances which remain for a long time without getting decomposed in the environment, such as plastics, batteries, etc. Then the concept of edible and ornamental plants like cabbage, spinach, coriander, strawberries, blueberries, some types of herbs. We should we should identify the edible and ornamental plants which are very important for our life. Then the concept of sewage disposal and cleaning of rivers, the concept of nuclear energy which can be used to make electricity, then radiation hazards like mobile phones. As we all know that some type of radiation we get from mobile phones, okay, which is very harmful for us as well as for other living beings, including birds, animals as well. So there are some movies on this thing, in fact. So we should have this awareness which can create pollution, which can create hazard for our nature, for our environment. So the concept of radiation hazard is included in the course of environmental education at the secondary stage. Then when we discuss about the radiation hazards, then the concepts like the radiation from mobile phones, the radiation from x-rays, radio waves, which may cause serious types of diseases among the living species. It should be included, or it is in fact included in the course of environmental education at the secondary stage. Then gas leak, wind power concept, then the concept of bioenergy. The bioenergy is renewable energy produced by living organisms. Bioenergy like biofuel, then biodiesel, biogas, etc. This biofuel is replaced in place of petroleum fuels. Then both the biofuel and biogas can produce heat, power and chemicals, which are again important for us. Okay, then the concept of environmental laws and acts is included in the course of environmental education at the secondary stage. So these concepts are very important to impart to the students of secondary level. So therefore these concepts are included at the secondary stage of education. Okay, then I come to tell about the environmental concepts which need to be discussed or included in the curriculum or course of higher secondary stage of education. Okay, let's see. What are the concepts need to be discussed at the higher secondary stage of education pertaining to our environment as well as environmental education? As you all know that higher secondary stage is the stage of diversification. So at this stage, the teaching of environmental concepts become deeper. Okay, although a comprehensive view about environmental education is not available in the textbook, but majority of the concepts are found in the textbooks of biology, chemistry and geography as well. And students having these subjects, especially biology, chemistry and geography, are benefited in different aspects of environmental education. Say for example, the students studying geography come to know about the geographical conditions of earth, of the environment as well. So like this, the students studying chemistry and biology, they come to know and understand about the biological things, about the chemical reactions of the environment as well. So these are included, or these are taught at the higher secondary level of education. Okay, the concepts of environmental education in the textbooks of various subjects include what are the course contents which need to be discussed, which need to be taught to students at the higher secondary level. Please listen. Environment and sustainable development, which is in fact the most important concept that we need to know, we need to understand. Okay, then atmospheric pollution, which is related to the problem of global warming. As you may all have this concept regarding atmospheric condition, atmospheric pollution, which is we nowadays we face the problem of global warming. Okay, so we must think at that moment what is the region of global warming, what may be the causes of global warming. Actually, we need to understand, we need to identify the problems, then we need to think about the remedial measures for this thing, and therefore this concept is included at the higher secondary level of education, because the students at the higher secondary level can identify, can understand, can think beyond the level actually. Okay, so because they are more matured enough, so they can now think as well about this problem. Then the concept of greenhouse effect, the concept of acid rain. As you may all know about acid rain, the rain that has harmful chemicals from industries or factories causing damage to trees, plants, rivers, buildings, etc. So it is the acid rain. So you please imagine and you realize what will be the impact of this thing if it occurs repeatedly, if it happens repeatedly, if we are subject to face global warming, if we are subject to face acid rain, we are subject to face greenhouse effect regularly, then what will be our condition in the next years. Okay, then the concept of ozone layer depletion, as you may have this concept of ozone layer depletion, then water pollution, and to understand and know international standards of drinking water. Okay, we all know that water is, precious resource for us. We cannot live without water. So we need to protect, we need to conserve water. Okay, so therefore it is in fact a serious matter to conserve, to protect our water resource. Then the concept of importance of dissolved oxygen in water, it is another important concept. Then again the important concepts like biochemical oxygen demand, BOD, demand for biochemical oxygen, and then chemical oxygen demand, which is again important concepts, need to discuss at the higher secondary level. Then land pollution, which is again a very important concept in order to survive, in fact. Then pesticides, what will be the impact or what are the impacts of using pesticides on our health, on our body, as well as not only the human beings but also the health of the other living species in our environment as well. So it is a serious, concern of discussion, in fact. Then the concept of ecology, the study of the relationship between the human beings and their surroundings. Not only human beings, but the relationship between the living beings and their surroundings. In fact, it is called as ecology. So we need to understand, we need to know the relationship between human beings and the environment, the relationship between living beings and human beings, the relationship between living beings and the nature and environment as well. So these are very serious concepts. In fact, we need to think about this concept. We need to have, a serious concern for these concepts as well. Okay. Now at the higher level of education. So let's see what may be the concepts which we need to discuss at the higher level of education. As we all have the perspective regarding the higher stage of education. So the higher level of education is the stage of critical thinking and systematic understanding, along with finding out reasonable solutions of the problems that we encounter. Okay, at the higher level, environmental education is taught as a separate course in curriculum. We have environmental science and wildlife studies as separate or individual discipline, that you may have this idea or you may have this information. Today, the academicians give more emphasis on studying environment and its related areas in a wider perspective through various types of areas. Okay, more scope is given on practical experience at this level than the theoretical concepts that we gain in our class. Okay, then moreover, importance is given to provide deeper knowledge and understanding pertaining to various concepts of environment and the concepts like sustainable development, environmental management and strategies for sustainable living, population and quality of life. In fact, the concept of population and its relationship with environmental quality is imparted from the upper primary stage of education. So this is all for today's discussion. I hope you all, got clearly each and every point here that I discussed today. Then meet you in the next session. So be active and do study regularly. Thank you.